And I shoot my shot and stuck a wild way it's going in.
Cross niggas like Bubba Chuck, I never gave a fuck. Hook shot a hole like Kareem, but I never lead a bus.
I hit that Ginobili with my left hand on like woo.
Bitch, you weren't with me shooting in the gym?
Wrong nights, I perform like Mike. Anyone, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, action.
James Harden with the range on me, nigga, way back.
Michael Jordan, 1985, bitch, I traveled with a cocaine circus.
And you can live through anything if magic made it. No more parties in LA. Please, baby, no more parties in LA.
What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now, beloved Knicks are almost at the finish line, but before we get there, we gotta take a look at the next matchup that we have against the Los Angeles Lakers, particularly King Julius and his ongoing issues with the Lakers, because the way he exited that team in 2018 will have an effect on how much he can re-up with the Knicks for in his contract negotiations this summer. You see, Randle being a 7-year vet, especially with the performance that he had this season, under normal circumstances, he would be eligible for a Supermax extension this summer. But because LeBron had chose to go to LA and it kind of changed plans and changed the Lakers' course on how they were going to structure their team, as a result, Randle was allowed by Magic Johnson to hit restricted free agency and just walk off and sign with another team, thus forfeiting any type of Supermax extensions that he would qualify for in his 7th year. So as of right now, instead of Randle being eligible to get a 5-year extension for about $200 million guaranteed, the deal the Knicks could offer him this summer would be around 5 years, from anywhere to $100 million to $140 million, with over $100 million guaranteed. The rest of the money will be based off of bonuses and incentives. But, there's always a but. Here's another thing that he could do. He could wait until next season, have another all-star performance like this season, bet on himself, and he can re-up with the Knicks during the summer of 2022, and he can make anywhere from $80 million to another $100 million on top of what he could get this summer. So that's just the financial side of LeBron making the decision to go to LA and how it costs other players money. See, we never tend to look at it this way. But Randle's gonna have to bet on himself for another year in order to re-up for the Supermax dollars that he should have earned in year 7 after having a great performance, which is this year. It's crazy just looking at how Jayson, Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell are in their 4th year of their rookie deals, but yet their extensions, because they stayed on the same teams, were both for 5 years, $195 million. And once again, I repeat, these guys are 4th year players, and they got 5 years, $195 million. Meanwhile, Randle, being a 7th year guy, only qualifies from anywhere to $100 to $140 million. That's because of bonuses and incentives. Only $100 million guaranteed. And these guys have $195 million guaranteed as 4-year players. So you see the difference. So once again, we're seeing the financial side of when a mega star like LeBron James makes the decision to go on a team like the Lakers that were kind of in the middle of a rebuilding process in which they drafted certain guys, and guys began to have certain expectations of what their future was going to be with the team. So when organizations make transitional shifts like this, it tends to cost players a lot. And with the great season Randle has had this year, we're going to see the effects of that this summer, especially when he's proven and has had peak performance, and now it's time for him to pretty much cash in. But Randle also has other issues with the Lakers that's not just financial, it's also personal. In his 4 years with the Lakers, there was a lot of dysfunction, no direction, and there was really nothing in place to set him up for future success. Remember, these were the last few years of Kobe being on the Lakers. The Buss family was dealing with the father passing away and passing the team on to the daughter, and the son was supposed to be the GM, but he didn't do such a good job. They had no direction, They hired Brian Scott as a coach, and he has major issues giving young guys minutes. He kind of gave all the rookies from D'Angelo Russell to Jordan Clarkson to Randle to Lance Jr. He gave them all about 25 minutes a game for like 2 seasons straight. It was weird. It's like he couldn't make a decision. And when they ended up firing him, he said that had he known he was supposed to win games, he would have never played the young guys. That's one thing I never understood with his hire. He does not like to play young guys, but all they had on the team was young guys besides Kobe. It shows you right there that they really had no direction. I mean, they had a stretch where they could even land any serious meetings with big-time free agents. Once again, the Los Angeles Lakers had a stretch where they could not land any meetings with big-time free agents. That shit is crazy. But going back to Randle, I mean, just from his rookie year, getting hurt playing the first 14 minutes of the season and just being out for the remainder of the year, then coming back for your second season, which is really your first season, and having the Kobe send-off year, where every game was about Kobe, everything ran through Kobe, and it was impossible for any rookie or young player to develop within that frame. Then they go from that to Luke Walton in 2016, in which he actually started decreasing Randle's role within the team. They had Randle coming off the bench as a backup center for Brook Lopez and Andrew Bogut. And they also slid Larry Nance Jr. at the starting power forward position. I mean, looking back now, Luke Walton definitely has a major issue playing certain archetypes of power forwards. Because if you look at even right now with Sacramento, the issues that he's having with Marvin Bagley, he got his pops even tweeting out, what the hell's Luke Walton doing? He has major issues playing with those type of power forwards. Guys who seem kind of strong and they don't really have their three-point shot going yet. He has major issues playing those type of players. And that's pretty much how Randle was back in the day. His three-point shot isn't like how it is now. But going back to Randle dealing with Luke Walton, there was a stretch where Larry Nance Jr., the starting power forward for the Lakers, had broke his hand. And Luke Walton opted out to play Kyle Kuzma at power forward instead of Randle. And he just kept feeding Randle the ball down low in the post, had him coming off the bench, playing 18 minutes a game on Randle's contract year. I mean, they were basically telling Randle they didn't need him anymore. But the funny thing is that Randle was still killing it in the 18 minutes that he was playing. And in the games that he did start, he averaged about 18 points a game and 9 rebounds. So definitely Laker fans were definitely seeing flashes of what Randle could be. But once again, Luke Walton, he did not use them correct. And on the Knicks right now, we see the effective way that Julius Randle could be used, because Tibbs this season has allowed Randle to handle the ball at the top of the key and kind of initiate some offense and get things going. And the results for the most part has been more than positive. His efficiency is up. As we've seen, he developed a three-point shot, and he's one of the league leaders in isolation plays. But going back to the Luke Walton and Randle issue, sometimes some coaches stray guys way too far away from their game, but it also could have been a timing issue. But either way, those two guys were operating in 2 different frequencies. And in LA, around 2018, it just wasn't the players and the coaches operating in different frequencies. It was even with management, as Magic Johnson took over and he was on a completely different frequency, as he was trying to clear up 2 max slots to get key guys to come to the Lakers. Kawhi Leonard at the time let it be known that he wanted a trade, so the Lakers were trying to get him, and also Paul George was going to be a free agent that summer. So in Randle's final season, the Lakers' priority was pretty much to make sure that there was cap room for at least 2 max slots. They needed about $65 million more in cap space to make that happen. So they got rid of Zubats, Thomas Bryant. They had Luol Deng sitting on the books. I mean, they could have definitely kept Randle and still hit their cap space goal of $65 million. All they would have had to do was attach a draft pick to Luol Deng, but they decided not to do it. I guess Randle wasn't that important, because his cap hit, had they give him a qualifying offer, would have only been $12.5 million. It's nothing crazy, but yet they let Randle just walk. Fast forward to this season, we're seeing how all these things from the past are playing out now, as the Knicks and Julius Randle have a number of options of how they're going to work out this next deal, as the Knicks do have the team option on Randle to pick him up for next season. but they also at the same time could extend him this summer. But if Randle wants to bet on himself and wait it out till next summer, in which he can get more money, then that could be a possibility for him. Or maybe him and the Knicks could meet in a middle ground and maybe negotiate a short-term deal in which they could renegotiate for even a higher amount on a future date, which give both parties more time, more room, more flexibility to make a decision if that relationship is going to work out long term. And also that Gordon Hayward, man, that Gordon Hayward extension, just him getting that 4 years, $120 million deal from Jordan, it got to open up other guys' eyes like, wow, that injury prone player got a 4-year, $120 million deal. I'm out here playing every single night and I'm doing more than him. I gotta be worth way more than that. It's almost like the same way the marketplace changed when they saw that a team got 3 first-round draft picks for Jrue Holiday. You could imagine what the Houston Rockets were thinking. Oh, when we trade James Harden, we're gonna get 7 first-round draft picks. They gave up 3 for Jrue? We got a guy that's worth like 4 Jrue Holidays. So it's almost the same thing that's playing out here, that Randle got to look at himself as like, wow, I'm worth way more than Gordon Hayward. He's always injured. How does he get 4 years, 120 mil? Can you imagine what I'm worth? So the standards of the marketplace have definitely just been bumped up to a whole nother level. And we sort of got to respect that now. Because best believe guys are going to be asking, is Julius Randle really worth that money? And certain people are going to feel a certain way about how much a guy is worth. But it's the marketplace that dictates what they're worth. You really got to stay in tune with that. That shit is hard, but you really got to stay in tune with the marketplace, what's going on within that sphere. So it is what it is. You guys check out the playlist page on the channel and check out other videos I do pertaining to things that's going on around the league. And also in the description, check out the PanKnick Discord chat. It'd definitely be great to chop it up with you guys. Definitely hit it up. And until next time, you guys stay safe. Peace.